Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my late night review of One Piece episode 854. So, right off the bat, I gotta say that even though things went pretty much, even though things were going south afterwards, south for the remainder of the episode, there was something very strangely entertaining about seeing Brûlée's plans to burn the Sunny go completely up in smoke from basically the other Straw Hats continuously destroying the mirrors. And it's one of those things where I honestly don't even know what it was that basically made that whole thing, that whole scene entertaining to me. Maybe it was the way Brûlée and the others were reacting to the mirrors being shattered, or maybe it just felt like one of those well-deserved backfires on her part. But either way, yeah, it was a strange. It was just that one scene. It wasn't a long scene, but it was just in that one single scene. I just felt I just couldn't help but kind of laugh, and yeah, I felt strangely entertained by pretty much the whole. But by the whole thing of the mirrors being shattered and her being unable to, and Brûlée being unable to attack the Sunny, it's a weird thing to focus on, I know, but I don't know. Again, maybe it just felt like one of those well-deserved backfires on her part, and just seeing her like just seeing her face of utter shock and disappointment, and maybe that's it, and maybe it's also the fact that this is her world, so maybe I'm getting some kind of sick pleasure out of seeing her mirror world, but pretty much literally being shattered in a way. So yeah, it's again a weird scene to focus on, but it felt fun, so to speak. Um, Now let's get into the big thing keeping up with the Brûlée though. Let's get into the big thing that happened near the end of this episode, which is that Brûlée is aware of the Straw Hats' plans, and if I remember correctly, actually, I think I think this is where people kind of started having issues with the fact that there were all these high stakes being built against the Straw Hats, but with very little effort needed for them to get out of it. And honestly, I can safely say after revisiting this material in the anime has that revisiting this material in the anime has actually given me some more perspective on that, which is basically what pretty much the series and Oda has done with this is that he's stacked the odds enough for us to believe that the legitimate threat that a Yonko and its crew possesses, but always making sure to leave just that tiny window open for pretty much the Strauss to for the Strauss to pretty much for the Strauss to pretty much get out of any situation. And I guess in a way you could say that's almost kind of bringing up a bit of a convenience aspect, but again, at the same time, like it's one of those things where you have to take the good and the bad with it. Like, okay, yes, a lot of these these scenarios in which they're getting out of these high stakes situations might seem convenient, but at the same time, what the well, let's also be real here. The Straw Hats aren't going to die. But the Straw Hats just aren't going to die. They're just not. Like, if that's what people are kind of expecting, like they're kind of expecting, like almost. If people are kind of expecting like almost deathly, like basically almost like extremely the extreme of near death experiences, I don't think we're ever gonna truly get that, or at least not, or if not if or at least not until probably we end up getting to the whole conflict with Kaido. But yeah, I think we have to kind of look at this as kind of a starting point. Like this is just Luffy's this is just Luffy's pretty much first taste of a Yonko, and we don't know how, and we honestly don't know how even Big Mom pretty much stacks up against the other Yonko. So yeah, Big Mom could be probably the weakest Yonko out of, or the second weakest Yonko out of all of them. So yeah, so I think it was done I think I do like it in a way where it just kind of it makes us question, pretty much moments almost like that, where we just question them just enough, where we see it as them the situations being almost extremely close to them being pretty much being taken out, but we know it's never going to happen, of course. Other than that, though, majority of this episode was the continuing fight with Katakuri. And one thing I will say on that front is that the art animation looked pretty damn amazing in this episode. Like, it was just incredible. And whatever reservations I had about Toei handling this fight are starting to dwindle steadily. I mean, I'm sure that there probably are still going to be the occasional flub, but so far, like, the final product is looking to be one of the better animated fights in the One Piece post time skip of One Piece so far. Like, I mean, as much as I love the Doflamingo fight, it's definitely beating that one by a country mile, and yeah, like, it's it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, damn, Toei, you're really upping your game with each time you focus on this episode, and I'm really glad how the reservations I had at the start of this fight are like, yeah, they're pretty much actually doing what I want them to. They're actually improving on the art and animation, and here it almost felt like it was an incredible final product in terms of the episode itself, and I know we're gonna still have flubs, but I can only see them being probably only a couple small flubs here and there from this point on, and so yeah, it's clear that definitely from the moment that they pretty much knew that this fight was coming. I think Toei knew the importance they needed to put on this fight in terms of the art animation, and so far they delivered. And on the side of the fight itself, yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Katakuri is a monster. And it's almost like we didn't even need Brûlée's whole rant about how Katakuri's never been knocked down. Like, we didn't even need Brûlée to tell us that, like, Katakuri has thoroughly proved it already, and yet, somehow, the whole thing about him never being knocked down still terrified me. And right now, the biggest issue that, again, Luffy needs to overcome is his predictability. Or, at the very least, he needs to find a way around Katakuri's whole future hockey thing. Like, that's the biggest thing right now that Luffy needs to overcome. And yeah, it is actually we're actually starting to get at the meat of this. And the funny thing is about this fight, I don't think we've even started. Like, I think we've only gotten to the middle point of this arc. Like the real meat is the real meat of this fight is still coming, and that's the scary part of it for me. Now, and the last thing I want to talk about, this is gonna sound strange, but did anyone else want to see more of the fight going on with the Germa? I mean, I know it would have only been used as a filler gap either way, but I don't know, maybe it's just we haven't seen them in a while, but I actually kind of wanted to see more of that fight with basically it was Yonji pretty much fighting that fire guy, but yeah, I really wanted to see a little bit more of that whole fight scene with the Germa, but I don't know, maybe it's just me and I haven't seen the Germa in a while, so I missed them. I don't know, but yeah, guys. That's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.